Hello and welcome to Cross Circle Squared. I'm Benny Girkman and this is TouchPad, your daily video game news show where we break down the 3 most important news stories of the day in an easily listenable format for your commute, your lunch break, wherever else you'd like to listen. Today is a pretty slow news day, especially after this week's huge rumor mill and discourse bubble just kind of popped. We're really all just waiting for next week when we see Xbox's business update, but we're here. I have some Baja Blast, and I also brought some smaller news stories that I either missed this week or just weren't able to include since we had such huge news stories the past couple days. First up, I want to talk about the recent Ubisoft earnings call. We have some bits of information about the next Assassin's Creed game. That's the Assassin's Creed Codenamed Red. That's their feudal Japan take on the RPG Assassin's Creed format. We've just had confirmation that AC Red will be released in the 2025 fiscal year. So fiscal years are weird. That's this April to March next year is that launch window. All of the new Assassin's Creed games, though, have released right before the holidays, mid-October to early November, around there. So if I had to guess, that's when we can expect playing AC Red this year. But obviously, nothing except that very, very wide time frame is confirmed yet. During the call, CEO Yves Guillemot also said that we could expect Star Wars Outlaws sometime this calendar year. I'm actually really excited for both of those games. Weirdly, I think Ubisoft for a long time was just a very boring developer, but we've seen them take these very recent actions that are kind of refreshing. They used to be one of those game developers and publishers that everyone just sort of automatically dunked on. But, we saw the new Prince of Persia game, and that was great. Star Wars Outlaws looks like a very, very fresh take on the Star Wars stories that we've seen, at least on the games side, past couple years. And we also have seen Ubisoft push towards more evergreen titles. Just last year, we saw Assassin's Creed Nexus, which is a VR game set in the world of Assassin's Creed. Now, if you're very excited and you think Ubisoft is really becoming something to appreciate, don't hold your breath. Your newfound optimism for a renewed sense of creativity in the C-suite of Ubisoft may not be long for this world. In that same earnings call this week, Yves Guillemot was also asked about Ubisoft's future in VR, and he was not very bullish on it. He said, we have been a bit disappointed by what we were able to achieve on VR with Assassin's Creed. It did okay, and it continues to sell, but we thought it would sell more, end quote. Obviously, this may not be an issue with the game or the direction of the company itself. It might just be pointing towards the weird place that VR is in right now. However, we've also heard rumors that Prince of Persia isn't selling well either. So, could that lead to Ubisoft walking this new approach back? We know Ubisoft is a very profit-driven company, and blanket Far Cry and Assassin's Creed titles sell well. So, if we see Skull and Bones flop, or maybe Star Wars Outlaws doesn't hit projections, I'm really worried that we could be heading into another Ubisoft slump. On a more positive note, though, back in 2022, Tom Henderson, who is now with Insider Gaming, said that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was playtesting back then. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see it soon. For our second news story, I want to just take a look at the general situation that we see game dev unions in at the moment. We've actually had a few union-related news stories this week. To keep on the Ubisoft train, we're now seeing French unions call on Ubisoft France employees to strike. Employees feel that despite the company reaching profit targets and being profitable year over year, they're not seeing any considerable change to overall company salaries or bonuses, not even enough to combat inflation. They've been called for the strike to place all day on February 14th, unless the company agrees to raise 5% of salaries, or rather, raise all of their salaries by 5%. I'll keep you updated if anything notable comes out from this on Wednesday. We're also now seeing French unions raise concerns of conditions at Don't Nod, the creators behind Jusant, Life is Strange, and my favorite mid-PS3 game, Remember Me. French union STJV, who was also in a union supporting that Ubisoft strike, has said that workers at Don't Nod are subject to frequently changing deadlines, contradictory information, bad organization, and overall work environment chaos. As per a GamesIndustry.biz article, Don't Nod leadership did respond to them, saying that they will review these allegations and that this sort of work culture does not align with their company vision. To update you on IGN's unionization that I talked about Wednesday, their petition has now reached almost 5,000 signatures, which is a lot when you consider they had an original goal of only 500. I'll leave the link down in the description again if you'd like to sign it, but I'm also going to leave a great GamesIndustry.biz roundup article about the current industry outlook on unions. It has some great stats and some great anecdotes, and it's overall a great read. Finally, to our third and final news story, comes from Take-Two's earning call. I'm really sorry, lots of earning calls today, but like I said, slow news story. First up, we've got a reconfirmation of GTA 6's 2025 calendar year release date. We also now know that No Rest for the Wicked is planned for fiscal quarter 1 2025. That's April to June this year. That game looked great at the Game Awards last year, so I'm really excited for that one, and I'll totally be looking out for it. During the call, Take-Two CFO also talked about entering a cost reduction program later this year. Layoffs are currently not in their plans, but you know how the industry is, that can change. I don't really imagine they would have to make layoffs since GTA would be coming next year, and that will generally rejuvenate their entire portfolio. Though it was reported this week that 2K developer Visual Concepts was just hit with a wave of layoffs. There has not been numbers released as to how damaging those layoffs were in terms of size, but I'll keep you updated if we learn anything new. Take-Two also reported that the GTA Definitive Edition trilogy's release onto Netflix has been a huge success financially. If you want to take a look at any more of those stat-heavy remarks, as well as just Take-Two's general positioning in the industry and their outlook, you can take a look to their slide deck. It's in the Notion sources links below. In other Take-Two news, if you've kept up at all with the Florida Joker GTA 6 news, there was a man featured in the trailer back when it released who has a very, very close resemblance to the Florida Joker, a man who took up that title after his mugshot released on the internet. And he just looks, he looks like the Joker. Here, let me pull up a look. This is him. This is the Florida Joker. He released a TikTok a couple weeks ago where he threatened to sue Rockstar for using his likeness in the trailer. But I don't know, maybe he has a change of heart. He seems much more amicable in the newest TikTok that he's released. He instead now demands that Rockstar let him voice the character in the game and, of course, pay for it. He believes he's owned that since, this is a real quote, he has said that, "I'm making the game more relevant. People want to play it. I'm the reason the game is so hyped now." This is a very similar case that we saw a few years ago in the release of GTA 5, where Lindsay Lohan tried to sue Rockstar and Take-Two for a character that she felt looked very similar to her, but failed in that. So I wish the best of luck to the Florida Joker in his societal rampage. Truly, Rockstar would be nowhere without you. Okay, that's all of our news stories today. There's a few smaller things I want to talk about before we're done. First off, as always, releasing today is Resident Evil 4 Gold Edition. That's the ultimate bundle of the game with the Separate Ways DLC included. If you haven't played RE4 Remake, it's very good. It's not as scary as it seems on the outside. It's actually pretty goofy. This edition that they've just released is now the best way to play, of course, so if you haven't picked it up, I definitely recommend it. Yesterday, we also saw the release of an inside look at the Rise of Ronin, Team Ninja's Feudal Japan game. It's looking great. Everything I see about this game makes me more and more excited, so I can't wait until it comes out on March 22nd. Link in the description if you want to read through that blog post. And finally, we had some news, if you can call it that, on the Lollipop Chainsaw remake, remaster thing, hopefully happening this year. The game's producer went to Twitter to say nothing. He said that he has received many, many questions, and that he will answer your many, many questions at some point. He's attached a screenshot, and it looks okay. I'll pull it up into full screen here. It looks okay, but it does look like just a pretty average remaster rather than a full modern remake. If you don't know what this game is, it is absolutely insane. It's a 2012 beat-em-up where Suda51 and James Gunn collaborated to make it. It's definitely an artifact of its time. And I'm at least glad it's getting a remaster since it's not playable on any of the new consoles. There's no PC port, so you're kind of locked out of playing it unless you go hook up an Xbox 360. So this re-release will hopefully mean more people can pick it up if they wish. Okay, like I said, not much actual news today, just some smaller things to catch up on. I'll see you on Monday with our weekend recap. We'll have a podcast coming out this weekend as well, all about Alan Wake, so watch out for that, as well as another budget game recommendation short by good old Karlec. Anyways, as always, I am Benny Gurkman. This is Cross Circle Squared, and I will see you tomorrow.